Joel Embiid, it's time, my boy. We gotta talk about it. It's time to stop avoiding the elephant in the room. We got a video here by AM Hoops. Shout out to you, bro. I will leave a link in the description. Check out the original video. But yeah, let's dive right into it.
The moment James Harden called Daryl Morey a liar, their season was basically over. I mean, you don't trade your second best player from last year for spare parts and get better. But Daryl Morey had a plan. He dealt Harden for 4 players in control of 2 first and 2 second-round picks, and all those players' contracts were about to run out.
You know what's crazy about the whole Daryl Morey and James Harden thing? They were once so close, bro. Like, they were like this. And it goes to show you the business side of the NBA, how at the end of the day, you got to look out for yourself. At the end of the day, people can promise you, and this is just a life thing as well. You got to take care of yourself first. And it's all nice and good until the money's involved. And friendship and money don't really mix that well, in my opinion. Or dating at the workplace doesn't mix, you know what I mean? Like, some things it's cool, but when it goes bad, it goes really bad. And hey, Daryl Morey lied. I wouldn't want to play for him either. But it's just not a good look when James Harden, literally everywhere you go, it's something. Same thing with Kyrie and Kevin Durant. And I don't know. I think I appreciate superstars like Brunson. Shout out to the Knicks. But yeah, interesting.
So this offseason, they have a ton of cap space for a superstar, except Tyrese Maxey had to sacrifice. He just put in 3 years of work, jumped to an all-star level for his second contract. That's when guys go from life-changing money to generational wealth. So Morey went to Maxey and said, yo, I know you're set to get paid, but can you wait 1 more year? What? Anything could happen. I mean, Maxey could tear his Achilles. He could get hit by a car. And Harden just called Morey a liar. You gonna trust him?
Maxey, don't do it. Maxey, don't do it. It's not the NFL. You're not a quarterback. Nothing's guaranteed. And Daryl Morey had already shown that he's willing to do whatever it takes. Keep his job. You know, he's willing to do whatever it takes to, no, obviously not win a championship, right? But he's cutthroat. And he'll do what's in the best interest of the team, no matter what. And that's the problem with fans. And I think we always put the blame on the players and never the organization, right? Because you're such a fan of this team for how many years? You always give the organization a pass. You always give the organization a pass when it's not always the coach or the player's fault when things don't go how they're supposed to go. Sometimes it's the organization, the GM. You ain't do your job. The owner, you ain't do what you're supposed to do. I think with situations like this, now if Maxey doesn't do what's in the best interest of the team, fans and players will look at him different and like, oh, he's selfish and yada yada. And the fans, that's your fault. Because if you were in that situation, you would take the money. Hey, I earned this. I worked my ass off every day for the past 20 years. I earned this. Now you want me to take a deal and wait 1 more year? Now I tweak my ankle and now you ain't trying to nah, bro. Don't do it. Maxey, and you ain't watching this. I know you're not. But any players that are watching this, keep the best interest of the team in mind. However, you got to do what's best interest of you.
Maxey said, okay, I will stay at a role player salary for the team. So now they have almost $65 million for a star. Then pay Maxey. Imagine if they could replace Tobias Harris's $40 million with a guy who, I don't know, doesn't score 0 points. That's Game crazy. 6 against the Knicks.
Bro, that is crazy. He's making max contract money. And that man, hey, thank you. Appreciate you. Now the Knicks move on. That's insane. How the hell did Tobias Harris pull that shit off?
Joel Embiid is the only MVP to never make a conference finals. So if healthy, he could finally get there to win a chip. But it's not that simple. When the Sixers go looking for stars, here's what they find. Superstars this offseason are LeBron James and Paul George. Stars, Pascal Siakam and James Harden, yeah, right. And below that, OG Anunoby. That's it. Pascal and OG.
That's a tough player pool. I don't think they're going to have Harden back. OG not going nowhere. He's a Knick. LeBron, I don't think he's leaving from LA, bro. He wants to play with Bronny. I think the Lakers are going to draft Bronny in the second round, and LeBron stays there on extension, maybe 2-year, 3-year deal. Paul George and Siakam's probably your best bet, but what are the odds? What are the odds that Paul George moves from LA? I don't think it's very high. I don't think it's his fault that they lost that series. I think when Kawhi Leonard, it's crazy that Kawhi Leonard is getting away with load managing for the past 5-6 years, and he's never healthy. You know what I mean? Like, how you invent the load managing so you can play the playoffs, and then you never healthy for the playoffs, bro. Even this year, you hurt for the playoffs again. I don't agree with taking games off and days off, bro. It's just, your body is either built for this or it's not. And I don't think taking long breaks like that helps your body's endurance and durability. I think at least, I'm no professional, right? I mean, I'm not a doctor or anything, but I know when I take breaks, I come back rusty. It's easier to tweak something. When I'm playing every day, even on a light amount of lifting or, getting treatment done every day, I think it feels better than taking months off or weeks off like this man does. So that's tough. It's tough. I don't think the 76ers really are going to get anybody that they need or that they're wanting or looking for. So we'll see what happens. I think Maxey should just take his bread, bro. Like, what do you say?
That's it. Pascal and OG definitely going to re-sign with their teams. Harden, obviously not. So that leaves LeBron and PG. Now you see why Brian Windhorst said, Paul George is their number one target. You mean their only target, but how do they land him? Well, Kawhi Leonard locked in with the Clippers for 3 more years during the season. At the time, everyone thought PG would re-up too, but he didn't. Is he looking for the most money now, or does he want to win? PG led the Pacers to back-to-back conference finals in his early 20s. He then goes to OKC and loses in the first round with Russ. And now in LA, dude is paired with Kawhi, who lets him down. Once again, Kawhi went missing this year in the most important spot. Mavs win in 6.
That
So
shit's
maybe
crazy.
George says,
That's insanity, the fact that the Mavs beat the Clippers. I don't understand how the Clippers can let this happen. And I'm not even a West Coast guy, but it seems like the Clippers are just always the Clippers. And that's insane that you trust in Kawhi Leonard. The game he did play, he looked not like a shell of himself, man. That's just all bad, bro. Hey, Paul George, you want to come to New York, baby? Hey, we got space. We need that second scorer behind Brunson. You ain't gonna get the money you're looking for, but we'll take you.
hey, if I'm in Philly, we definitely beat the Knicks with a path to the finals. The only problem is Joel Embiid's health, the Kawhi Leonard of the East. It is going to be a real tough sell to ask PG to team up with another injured star teammate. So imagine if Paul George re-signs with the Clippers, LeBron remains a Laker. It'll probably happen. I could easily see Paul George using this Philly pressure as leverage to squeeze a max contract out of Steve Ballmer and the Clippers. What does Philly do at that point? Well, one option is to use all the money to sign elite depth. Free agent role players this summer are Klay Thompson, KCP, DeMar DeRozan, Miles Bridges, Malik Monk, Tyus Jones, Nick Claxton, Bruce Brown. That's not a bad list.
Okay, those are some really great players, right? However, do we think that Maxey and these guys, right, are enough to win a championship? Because at this point, you got to consider Joel Embiid is always hurt, right? And even this playoffs, I commend the man for playing through whatever he played through with the face, the palsy thing, and the knee, and all this. I commend that. But at what point do we have to start accounting for that? You know what I mean? Hey, Joel's going to miss 40 games. Joel's going to, you know what I'm saying, he's going to be hurt in the playoffs. In my opinion, if I was Philly, I'd trade Joel Embiid, get a lot of value. The process is over, bro. Let's just call it what it is. The process ain't working. The process ain't going nowhere, bro. Ben Simmons is done. Joel Embiid, it's time to go, bro. Like, the process is over. So now, if you're Philly, in my opinion, bro, you get the value you can out of Joel Embiid. You build around Maxey. And that could be your own little project for the next couple of years as Maxey develops into the superstar that he's destined to become. I don't think that this Philly experiment is working, and I do not think that adding these guys is going to really move the needle in the way that you're expecting. But like, goddamn, Tobias Harris got to give you more than 6 points or no points in some games, bro. Like, I think if they did have somebody like this, it would help. I just don't think what hurt Joel Embiid, you can't win. I think you need a healthy Embiid to win a championship if you are the 76ers, and that's just not a thing.
Or they could re-sign their own free agents like Kyle Lowry, Kelly Oubre, and Nick Batum. But what Embiid wants is a star. And there is one other way to get him. They could trade for a star into their cap space. That way, they don't have to send anything back. Other teams might love that. They would have a disgruntled star and trade him out for a cheap and clean cap sheet. It's a win-win. So Windhorst also said they will monitor both Jimmy Butler and Brandon Ingram's situations. Embiid's favorite teammate, Jimmy Buckets. The worst decision Philly made outside of drafting Markelle Fultz #1 was choosing Ben Simmons over Jimmy. Back in 2019, they got Butler from the Timberwolves and were one Kawhi bounce away from the conference finals. That's
a crazy move to look back on. Y'all really picked Ben Simmons over Jimmy Butler, and that's tough.
Simmons had the higher ceiling than Jimmy Butler, and it ruined them. Ben broke down, and Jimmy made 2 NBA Finals in Miami. Now, Butler might be available again. The Athletic says there are signs the Jimmy Butler in Miami era could be nearing a tipping point. Butler wants a max 2-year extension from the Heat, but Butler famously does things his way, and Miami's organization famously does not brook much individualism. Heat culture's got parameters and
That's crazy. Yeah, I think Jimmy's gone, bro. The fact that Pat Riley just came out and was like, yo, you just shut your fucking mouth if you're not on the court. Jimmy Butler ain't gonna stand for that, bro. And the Miami Heat team, I think they reached their peak, bro. Like Jimmy Butler and the role players. I think y'all got as far as the finals twice. I think that's an accomplishment. That's not even bad, bro. Like Jimmy Butler by himself with a bunch of shooters and white boys and role players, bro. Make the finals twice is impressive. I think if Ben Butler is to leave, I think this is the time. And he's a made man. People already know what to expect out of Jimmy. He's going to come in. He's going to hold y'all accountable. He's going to play defense. He's going to fucking, when y'all need him most, he's going to hoop, bro. And I think if any time is the time to move, it's probably now. Right?
Expectations. And I get it. The Heat aren't used to guys who talk trash like Jimmy Butler.
Video this. You got it? Yep. 1, 2, 3, action. If I was playing, Boston would be at home. New York, damn sure would be at home. Y'all talk. That mean to me. That's what.
Joel Embiid would love that talk. But Miami might be ready to move on after a first-round exit. I know Jimmy was injured, but, they were the 8th seed this year. A big problem is his age. Jimmy turns 35 before next season. Only a desperate team would give him a max contract. Like the Sixers, what else are they going to do? Sign Clay and DeMar DeRozan? But haven't we seen this before? Embiid, Maxey, and Butler, 3 guys on a max contract. How is that different than Devin Booker, KD, and Bradley Beal in Phoenix? They had so little depth it was awful. Well, there is one big difference for Philly. Because they have a league-high 12 free agents, they have enough money to give out a max contract and get depth. It's a dream situation. If it wasn't for the one problem no one talks about. People are afraid to say that Joel Embiid hasn't made a conference finals because he actually isn't that good in the postseason.
All right. Thank you. Holy cow. Let's talk about it. All right? Let's talk about it. Let's be objective right now. Let's talk about it. When I watched the Knicks play versus the 76ers in this postseason, Joel Embiid is too much of a crybaby, bro. It's like, it's the playoffs, my nigga. You're not going to get the calls you get in the regular season. Just how what Gil was saying about Jokic, the passes, some of the turnovers you're throwing, those are regular season passes. The playoffs is different. It is. It's just different. The refs are they're letting y'all play. It's more defense focused. This year playoffs, I enjoy so much. It's not none of the ticky-tack fouls and and the review system. Hey, that review system is looking kind of nice. The challenge system too is looking kind of nice. I like that. It's a great start. But the biggest thing I noticed is like I was not even being like a Knicks fan watching those games, right? It was just being a basketball fan objectively. It's like I want Joel Embiid to dominate. You know what I mean? Like I want the Knicks to beat him when he's at his best. That makes the win even more. He crying every play, crying, doing this, every play, doing fucking crying. Where the fuck? Like, bro, play basketball. If you're the best player and the most dominant player on the court, you gotta just dominate. Like yeah. Sometimes it's gonna be calls that you not gonna get, bro. The same thing with LeBron. You're the biggest dude on the court. They're not gonna give you the little ticky-tack stuff. That's just not. It's just a reality, right? You're bigger than everybody else. They're gonna beat you. You probably are getting fouled every play. Let's be real. Same with LeBron. Same with some of these other guys. You probably are getting fouled every single play. However, nobody wants to watch that. Nobody wants to watch you at the free throw line 40 times in the playoffs. And it's just a reality. In the regular season, half his points come from the free throw line. I'm like, yeah, it's cool. But in the playoffs, it's different. You're not going to get that, bro. And the fact that he couldn't play through that or adjust his game or tweak his mindset to go out there and play through that. Like, I know you're hurt. I know you get the palsy thing. I know you're injured. But if you're out there, bro, you got to be a leader. And a leader who is crying and complaining will never lead a team to a championship. And that's what I'm worried about Denver. Murray throwing a towel on the court, a heat pack, and he's just playing like trash. Like, you're not going to win a championship like that. And having one of your key guys in the locker room, you have no idea that having one of your best guys and your leaders be a crybaby and complaining and in the post-game interview have an attitude and shit, that's toxic and it's, bro, it ain't gonna work. I'm glad he brought that up because Joel Embiid in the playoffs, bro, you're not that good. You need the free throw line to win games, and that's not how the NBA is going right now, bro. It's tougher. It's all the superstars right now, bro, going through it. But if you're the best one and you're MVP level, you got to be the best. You got to show it, bro. You can't be crying for free throws. And
I mean, when we talk playoff disappointments like James Harden and Russell Westbrook, is Joel Embiid in that category? I think he is so likable to fans and the media, people refuse to admit it. I mean, remember the famous Ben Simmons passed up dunk against the Hawks? What did Embiid do in that Game 7? Oh, he put up 31 points, 11 boards, but in the final minutes, in a 3-point game, he misses with John Collins guarding him. Then, under a minute to play, turns it over, which leads to a bucket on the other end for Atlanta. And one last-ditch effort in a 5-point game just chucks up a missed 3. The next season, they went up 3-0 against the Raptors in round 1, but it took 3 games to finally put them away. And because of that, Embiid was even more banged up, missed the first 2 games in the next round. Last year, they were up 3-2 on Boston, leading in the fourth quarter at home, and Embiid doesn't touch the ball the final 5 minutes. I know you could blame Doc Rivers, but do you think other stars would stand for that? In Game 7, James Harden got all the crap, but Embiid had 15 points, 8 boards, and shot 28% from the field. Look, I am not an Embiid hater. I like the guy a lot, but the numbers aren't pretty. For his career, fourth quarter of a playoff game, Embiid averages 5 points, 2 boards, and an assist, but he shoots just 41% from the field, 21% from 3. Compare that to other killer stars of this era, and that's terrible. Did you know Joel's MVP season? He dropped from 33 points per game to 23 in the playoffs. The biggest dip of any MVP ever. So there is a lot of...
I really just feel like in the playoffs, hey, you're not getting those calls, bro. You're just not. And it's more enjoyable to watch. It's more enjoyable, it's just more enjoyable to watch, bro. And that goes to show kind of character he has, kind of person. I'm not an Embiid hater either. I'm just being objective here. Like, I can, I just didn't like the fact that he was crying so much. The Knicks won, so, I mean, regardless if the Knicks won or not, it was just, I wish I could see more killer instinct in him. I mean, let's be real. He's not my leader, but that crybaby shit. I'm glad Brunson don't be doing that. Brunson that boy. But yeah, check out another video, my boy. Appreciate y'all watching this video. I will catch y'all next one. Yeah, peace.